Blessings upon you, my brothers and sisters in Christ. I'm Dr. William H. Myers, Professor of New Testament and Black Church Studies at Ashland Theological Seminary in Ohio, and Senior Pastor of the New Mount Zion Baptist Church in Cleveland. I bring you the word for today from Paul's letter to the Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, as a prisoner of the Lord, I urge you to live worthy of the calling of which you have received. Do you know that every person in Christ has a calling on their life? A purpose, a direction, something that you are to do. And you have been given the gifts to do it. Paul says, live worthy of that calling that you have received. Search out. Try to find it. What is it that God has put you here to do? I've written a number of books on it, one called The Irresistible Urge to Preach, and the other one, God's yes was louder than my no. In 1 Corinthians chapter 12, Romans chapter 12, and Ephesians chapter 4, we read a lot about the calling of God. In all of his letters that he's written, Paul talks about being called. Here he says he's a prisoner. Basically, as a prisoner at the time, he can't do all that he's called to do. He wished that he was out. But he's saying to the Ephesians, listen, I'm a prisoner, you are. Live worthy of the call to which you have been called. Have you figured your calling out? You do have one. And it's unique to you. You don't have to be anybody else. That's the beauty of God. He's not trying to make you be anybody else. You don't have to live up to what somebody else is doing. But you ought to live up to and be worthy of the calling that God has called you to. What is it? Ask the Lord. Read 1 Corinthians chapter 12, Romans chapter 12, Ephesians chapter 4. Go to Bible study. Talk to your leaders in your church. Talk to your pastors, whomever your spiritual leader happens to be. Talk to other Christians who've gone this route. But figure out. Don't live this whole life not doing what you have been called to do. Be worthy of the calling that you have received, because you have received one. It is a blessed call. May you be blessed and seeking to find it. God bless you, and God